Dang it. I did it. I keep thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. So I gotta watch that. I hate that. Thank you. But this is a really cool thing about the sensory deprivation. So thank you, Samantha. We got Samantha here. See, and yeah, you got sound now. So sensory deprivation. How does that affect the mind, the body? And I was coming across this room. It's the quietest place on earth where it's completely soundproof, 99.999% soundproof. And nobody's lasted for more than 55 minutes inside this room. It starts becoming painful. You can hear your heartbeat. You can also start hearing your breathing. And nobody's lasted more than 55 minutes. We need our senses. Also, you've heard about those big water tubs. Sometimes astronauts will use that, but people start hallucinating. So, why does this happen? And there's John, a little busy today, so that's okay. I was mute for the first 3 minutes, so you didn't miss anything. I did it again. I really don't like these noise canceling ones. But it is interesting. And, I started thinking about narcissism. And they have like a disconnect in their brain. There's actual brain damage. The neurons, neurotransmitters aren't connecting. So these people who are deprived of their senses um, start to kind of go crazy. They're very uncomfortable. They can't stand it. Their body is trying to sense something. So they're starting to hallucinate. They're starting to make things up in their mind. Also, they're intensifying things, just like when they couldn't hear. They started intensifying even they started having ringing in their ears. So the body is compensating for something. So the narcissist, with that disconnect in their brain, they're missing some of those connections that are vital to feeling alive. We actually need love. It's babies who are born, they have failure to thrive if their needs aren't being met. And the narcissist, I did a video on why they must discard. They're trying to over like compensate for, I say it, kind of going into adulthood, to breaking free. They didn't have the love that they need to break free from. Also, they're not living up to the standards sometimes that they're grandiose. And I just thought it was really interesting if you think about it, that the narcissists, they're compensating for something. So they're intensifying their feelings. That's why when they're unsettled, it is exacerbated. And JG says hi to our people. PP. But what do you guys think about that? I thought it was pretty interesting because a lot of us are trying to figure out, how do we get along better with the narcissist? And, what do we do wrong? You know, uh, why are they like the way that they are? But I want to ask you guys, how are you guys doing today? Your fault, random type. That's okay. Just next time, random type appropriately. Just kidding. But just having fun with you. So I thought it was really interesting though, because there is something going on in their brain. They have like a hyperactivity in their brain, like trying to fight or trying to connect. And when they act out, it's actually soothing to them. The adult brain and the child brain are different. Adults, when we play video games, it kind of raises our blood pressure, gets us a little more hyped up, but it's actually calming for kids. And you hear about different medications. If you need, what is it, Ritalin or Adderall or whatever it is, it can soothe you if your brain needs it, but if you don't need it, it hypes you up. So depending on what the brain needs, and the narcissist, their brain needs are so different than a healthier person. And then once we start getting that trauma from the neglect or the confusion or the lies, the frustration, the anxiety, we start feeling like we're narcissists sometimes because of the reactive abuse. We're acting out of character. And, we kind of self check ourselves. Brenda, oh, you're in California. Oh, on a storm flood watch. Uh oh. Not your area yet. Let's hope it stays away. Yes, definitely some prayers for Brenda. Brenda, please be safe. Oh my gosh, are you in a low area or a high area? Floods can be pretty scary. Floods can also be kinda cool though, because I had this property. It had, like, a creek way in the back. I had 5 acres. So it was basically, I don't know, an acre, acre and a half, and then it was all woods, and back in the woods, there was this, like, winding creek, and when it would flood, it would come up onto the property, and it would flow, and it looked like I had, like, a little river. But John's gonna rescue in a submarine, and I saw something about submarines. Submarines are not ships that can sink, they are ships that can raise, because all ships can sink. So, a yellow submarine. Do you remember that song? We all live in a yellow submarine, whatever it was. But yes, definitely stay safe. If you need to get to high ground, let us know. But we'll definitely be saying some prayers for you. This has been some kind of crazy weather. Welcome to America. Weather is fascinating, though. I just saw something too about these boys they had where their hair was all standing up. And this picture was taken, I don't know how old they were, like 8 or 10 and 15, something like that. I think 8 and 15. And so their hair is all standing straight up. These boys had pretty long hair. And I think it was back in the 80s or something when, but it was right before lightning struck, and they got struck. One had a third-degree burns, things like that. And I was going to research them a little bit more because they survived a traumatic event, and both of them ended up committing suicide. So I believe the one with the third-degree burns killed themselves first, like smoke was coming out of his back. And then you got to think about the second brother that maybe it was CPTSD from his brother committing suicide, you know? That's why mental illness is really important. John says in reality, the Chinese actually built a flying sub. It's both a delta wing aircraft, but can be submersible, possibly space travel. Ooh, and you were very impressed with their design. That sounds really neat. Huh. That's kinda cool. Brenda says, "I'm kinda in between high and low. The watch now is for burn areas." Okay. California fires cause problems in the rainy season, probably because of, lightning strikes. Is that what's causing it? Is that why? I know my aunt and uncle live out in California, um, and, they were traveling and, like, they're from Michigan, but they ended up moving out there, and they kept seeing all these fires, so they wanted to save the day, and they kept putting out all these mini fires every couple, I don't know, miles or feet or whatever. They were putting out the burn fires. Then they realized those are actually helpful. Oh my gosh. So Brenda, I'm kind of interested. Why do they cause problems? I believe it, but is it because of the lightning strikes or too much smoke? Or I know, the cycle of life and everything like that. Like we actually need those fires. That it helps rejuvenate, it helps clear certain things out. There's certain things that can survive it. I think Venus flytrap can survive. I mean, it like crumbles unless that's a pitcher plant. Um, but very interesting, guys. So, the brain of the narcissist. I've been really thinking about self esteem. They say things about you need to have your self esteem built up. And this is where it gets a little tricky. You guys feel free to type, tell me how your day's going, any questions or comments that you guys have. But the self-esteem. So let's say, you know your worth, but you want to sleep with someone. Um, and that's up to you what you guys do with that. But listen to my analogy is, you have your desires, you have your wants. So you do that and you know your worth. You're a kind person, generous, da 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 da. And so if you engage in that, then that's how they're going to see your worth, that they don't have to do certain things like marriage or things like that. And that was always like something kind of on my mind, like, how does that go towards your self-esteem? Like, if you want to, two consenting adults. And I had this analogy pop in my head where, let's say, um, You were like the super high class person. So you're really high class, but you just kind of dress down and you just eat at Taco Bell every day just because you like it. You can. And like go with me on the analogy. So you're going to say that you're a high class person, and what is society? Society judges people, but it's kind of trying to show the value. So if you're doing things that don't seem what you are, then are you really? So it's almost like you have to show people who you are, whether it's you want to indulge in that kind of fun play, but that's not going to show them who you really are inside. So I just thought it was kind of interesting way to look at it, that sometimes we have to maintain our standards just to get the point across. And it does take effort, just like if you want to see people to see you as high class doing um, other things, they're not going to see it. um, so I'm not saying you should be snooty and eat out fancy, but I thought it was a good analogy on how people perceive things, even if you tell them, and also too, when we're going through our depression, for our next person coming up, that we could say we're a good wife or a good husband, but are we presenting that? Is our house clean? Are we clean? Are we keeping up on our bills? Are we doing necessary things to be a good partner? Brenda says the fires burn up the vegetation, so lots of dirt left behind. Yeah. And thank you. You're right. So it makes perfect sense. Good. Because you could do it. There's nothing wrong with eating at Taco Bell. I mean, maybe health wise, but there's nothing wrong with it. And that doesn't change how kind you are or how giving you are, but it shows a different, persona. So it gets confusing, and some people, um, that's why even if you want to indulge, it's kind of like, should I? You know, because perception is a lot of it. And that's why communication is so important. C says, my mother says that she trusts me, but her actions tell a different story. You're a beautiful 18-year-old. That's why. And is it she trusts you? She's just scared. That's a mother thing. That is a mother thing. I bet you're beautiful, and I bet she's scared of you dating and leaving her, She wants the best for you, hopefully. But tell me your story. When she's not showing you that she trusts you, uh, it's her insecurities of you leaving or just being worried too. It's hard being a mom. But tell me your story a little bit better. What is it that she's showing you that she doesn't trust you? Because we'll get down into that a little better, either uh, give you a little more comfort or a different way to handle it, or to say, yep, mom's got some issues. But I think a lot of it's just she's scared, Could be wrong. So that's why I'm asking for your story. Samantha says you're going to look at what we do rather than what we might say about ourselves or anything really. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, uh, it's sad that they don't look behind, beyond that. You know, and John says, I've seen so many people this past year that were trapped in their own world and made me feel lucky for what I myself have going. Sometimes, yeah, you can go, yep, I'm not so bad off after all. And comparison, sometimes does help, but we got to be careful too that, like on Facebook, everybody posting how extremely happy they are. That's great if they are. Samantha says, I know. See, I experienced that also. An overprotective mom to the point where she became manipulative and abusive to keep me, all because she knew I wasn't happy and needed more in life. Yeah, it can go to the insecurities. C says mostly just that she does not think I'm able to do certain things or that I don't know better than her. Yeah, and that goes to her, like she wants to be super mom or whatever, and you know having to say my daughter knows more than I do kind of hurts her egos. And yeah, there's not able to do certain things. My dad did that. It drove me crazy. My dad was a micromanager, kindest man in the world, kindest man, most giving man, with a couple flaws. But yeah, it's like, geez, like I'm 52. He just passed away fairly recently, but it's like, oh my gosh. Like I've done this so many times, so it can get quite frustrating. Um, that's hard to live with, Samantha, or I mean, see, and Sam went through it too. John says it's basically, I'm changing over time as we all do, but these kinds of people either can't or won't change. And change is good. Yeah, change is good. The times are changing, people are changing, we're learning things. Um, and it's guiding us through our lives. That's why some people get stuck in their lives. But depression is extremely important to keep in check. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment and forget that it's a moment in time. It's not eternity. I was seeing this thing about a kid that was suicidal. Um, you say you moved away from your parents at 17 to a different town. So I think that she struggles with the feeling of losing her baby. Are you an only child too? Do you have brothers and sisters? Mostly, C says just that she does not think I'm able to do certain things. I read that. So yeah, you moved out on time and early, but you're an only child. I kind of got that vibe. Sam, you are too? Oh my goodness. That's even harder. My baby. Aw. Why? Just, the dynamics. I just get a feel for that because 'cause I'm awesome. But, just the way your mom is, just the way your mom is with you. It's kinda, focused on you a lot, instead of divided among the kids, a little more hyper vigilant because you are her only one, if that makes any sense. Sam says she wouldn't let me go in the backyard as a 21-year-old. She held me inside against my will and used false religious principles, totally twisted against me. It destroyed your mother-daughter relationship. That's hard. Um, yeah. They can be quite controlling sometimes. And yeah, 21 years old. You can understand now being a mother, but the control dynamics is different. She was driven by fear, extreme fear. And it's hard being a mom. It is hard being a mom. You want the best for your kid, usually, or you at least hope so. You got your own issues going on and different perceptions. I kind of did some things with my daughter that maybe I didn't do quite right. Because we got to be careful. Like if I'm giving something to her, like uh let's say a Barbie party. Just, I'm gonna make the best Barbie party. Barbies were the coolest thing. And then I'm like, I'm not picking up that she likes I don't know, Polly Pockets. Whatever. That's from way back. Brats. I don't even know what's out now. But you know what I'm trying to say? That it might not necessarily be what she wanted and what was the best for her, and then sometimes it's communication. Like, what did I do wrong? You know? Um and that's hard. And that's just a superficial example. There's other examples, like my mom tried controlling me too. It drives me crazy. And John says you have a sister that is a perfect copy of your mom. Long story short, I feel they are both narcissistic. Everybody's narcissistic. And it gets harder when you live with people that, there's power struggles, that go on, miscommunication that can go on. And it's hard. Yeah, so I'd like to get to know your family a little bit more too, John. C says in the beginning of COVID, she would not let me go to school for 2 months. She was probably terrified. I have a cousin that died at age 30 from COVID, and another one that it was his son. So the father ended up getting admitted an hour after his son died, barely escaped being on a ventilator. His wife, the mother, had blood clots, and then the other daughter was just pretty sick. But um, yeah, that's a fear-based response if it was because of COVID. And it's frustrating because you're like 17, 18, 19 years old, you know, but that was fear. And that's a thing, mom's fear affected your grades. And sometimes looking back, we don't know who made the best decision, if you would have gotten really, really sick at that time, possibly died, something like that. Mom made the right decision, but you would have been fine and your grades dropped. So now who's at fault? So it's hard. Um, you know, uh, That's hard. It's hard letting go, but you're an adult now, um, and you're the one that kind of paid the price, but COVID messed a lot of people up, and I'm sorry you went through that. But yeah, about her being driven by fear. Um, that's, something people react to. So Samantha says, what also destroyed mom-daughter relationship was she didn't defend me against abusive stepfather and others who were hurting me. Ooh, not good. It was hard. Wonder I came out half decent. Aw. Aw. Gosh. Oh, Sam, I hate that you went through that. And with lots of love, I say this lovingly, but that might be kind of why you're stuck with your husband, kind of repeating that stuff. Even though you didn't like it, you didn't like the abuse, you didn't like um, you know, the pain that you were going through. But sometimes that's what we're used to, and we get drawn to that. It's weird how it works. So lots of for you. And Sam says, I get it. See, I really do. Um, John says, I've read that narcissists are actually afraid of their prey, scared of the person they choose to attach to when they exert their power. Yeah, good point. They can be. They definitely can be. Um, it I can see where that statement is, but it's almost like it's so weird with narcissists that because there's times that they see things that are good in you and then they kind of tear you down. They utilize you to raise their self-esteem, and they steal your happiness. They try to control the situation with the dirty looks or the silence. And it's how people interact with each other that really makes a difference. And you know um the hardest part with them is you can't communicate through it. I gave that. Hold on. Samantha says, see, if I could tell my young self anything, I tell me, don't let how you feel about what she's doing force you to do something out of your character. Don't do something in retaliation. That's not you. Perfect. And that's why I had mentioned too, when you're watching different YouTubers, be careful the person you're talking to is not coming from anger. Like I went through, over 30 years of abuse from two different narcissists. And I'm not sitting here telling you, fuck them, go pop their tires. They don't want to pay child support, pop their tires so they can't get to work. They don't need a fucking job, but they're not getting to, um, don't deal with it that way. Stay true to yourself. And John says, that's my point. She had issues with eye contact and other subtle things. I never did anything bad to this girl, but her view of me, I'll never know. She did care about you. She did. But she can't handle, um, in her way, we'll say in her way, because narcissists, you know, they steal your energy. Sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes it's not. Um, it's they're and whether it's purposeful or not purposeful, it's toxic, you know? Um, it's kind of a bad example, but just like that Johnson's baby powder, they didn't mean to hurt people, but people got like ovarian cancer or whatever the heck they got. And doesn't matter if it was on purpose or not, maybe for a lawsuit, but the outcome is still toxic. So that's what we got to look at when we're dealing with narcissists. Is it toxic? Doesn't even matter. We can say, did they mean to do it? Did they not mean to do it? Um, but it's fun to understand how their mind works. She says in last year, she said that we might never see each other again because I'm not vaccinated. I really believed it at that time and it was hurtful, but eventually we did start meeting again. Oh, yeah. Um, that's fear-based. Like, does your mom have any comorbidities? Is she either overweight or obese or high blood pressure? Does she have people in her life that die early, cancers? She might just be afraid of it, or trying to bully you into doing it because that's what she would do. And if she was still mom over a little girl, she would have taken you. Some people, you know, like my family's divided on it. I'm not vaccinated. My mom is, but she got blood clots right after it in her heart and her lungs. And, um, you know, oh, Mayor, there, good to see you. Hey, hi, Mayor. And you just stumbled on this. I don't have much charge left on my phone. There's a tree branch on my roof. Oh gosh, and I'm feeling quite vulnerable. Also running out of food here. Meant to send you your P.O. box by now. Oh my goodness, Mayor. Why is there a tree branch on your roof? I know Brenda's got like a storm brewing right now. Struggling because this would be when I would call that guy who was there for me who turned out to be a narcissist. Yeah. Um, has has he bothered you? Because I know you were quite distraught over that. And do you have anybody else who's able to help you? C says, Samantha, I used to let her fears become mine, but I'm working on that. Yeah, and that's the healthiest way to do it. Um, just say, Mom, I appreciate, you know, you wanted me to be vaccinated, but this is my choice. But yeah, it's fear based and controlling. It is controlling and it's your choice. It is your choice. And that's sometimes hard to let people we care about make their own choice, especially when you're a mother, but she needs to let you do that. Sam says, I believe you're right. I'm here still because of things I've already endured. I also think to myself, what am I doing? Why am I still here? Why can't I just cut this? Because it's cutting away part of your childhood. It's what's comfortable. It's what's already current. You don't know what the future holds. Letting go sometimes is hard. And um but just like being that high value woman, are you gonna stay eating at Taco Bell or are you gonna live that high value life? Um you can stick to what's easier or you can live your life to the fullest potential. And I don't want money to, an analogy that I think you guys can get a picture. Uh, you don't have to be rich to have a good life. Mayor says, don't know who to help me now. Tree is scraping shingles off the roof. Do you live in a complex or something where there's other people in your building that can help you? Even if they're just neighbors that you don't necessarily know really well? Or do you live in your own house? I think maybe you said you lived in your own place. John says, what I was going through losing my girlfriend to cancer makes me think otherwise, Cynthia. I mean, that girl had people do some crazy things to me. Yeah, and their depth is different. Just like they say toddlers are the most violent humans on earth, pound for pound. And it's kind of that depth. Do those little 2-year-olds hate us? Um, they don't process it. They don't process it. They do whatever the fuck they want. They don't listen. They don't reflect. Um, but they'll still come up and hug us. They'll get over it. Sometimes they hold grudges if we don't give them their way. So it's that kind of, you know, superficial caring, but it's toxic. So I wouldn't say all narcissists are completely ruthless, out to kill your soul, but you know, as if this whole world acted like 2-year-olds, "Give me that, and that's mine," and, hitting each other and biting each other, like, it would be hell on earth. Um, and we have to learn how to handle things in society regardless of what we're feeling, because it's gonna set other people off. So even if we're pissed off and portray that, then that person's gonna do that reactive abuse, and then somebody's gonna see it and stand up, and then that person's gonna get offended, and everything just snowballs. So as far as that, John, I'm not talking like lovey-dovey, I die for you kind of caring. It's like a 2-year-old kind of caring. Like, thanks for being here. See ya. I'm gonna go play. So she just didn't know how to handle her life. She didn't know what she wanted. She had other things on her plate, so I'm not dispelling anything that I shouldn't. She told you that I saw you guys, that she was planning on moving. So maybe she didn't want to start something if she's just going to leave it. Uh, and yeah, I get what you're saying though. But yeah, not a deep adult kind of caring. That's more of a selfish type. Mayor says, "Oh, Samantha, please don't be hard on yourself. Getting in it's so much easier than getting out." Good point. Yeah, because everything seems fine, and then you're like, "Oh crap, now what?" And um, Sam says, "I'm not either. Too many issues with it, and it wasn't tested. The 5-year test period didn't happen with this vax." Yeah, like I said, and also now, so my mom got lung and heart blood clots that caused permanent damage. Um, and then my grandpa, he, now this was 6 months after. It was 6 months after his second shot. He bled out. Now, granted, he was 98 and a half. So could it have been that it was because he was 98 and a half? But he, you know, no health issues. And then, he was still getting around. He was cognitive, so interesting to talk to. And then he just bled out, you know. And I've had a couple doctors like, yeah, maybe, but where'd that bleed come from? Um, but I don't know. My brother and sister are vaccinated without issue, and my other sister and I aren't. Um, See, she is not perfectly healthy, but she blows her fears out of proportion. Yeah, that's wanting some attention and possibly fear-based. It's either, fear or attention, or sometimes too just, kinda hypochondriac or not knowing. Sometimes people get scared of the not knowing. Like, I have an upset stomach. Do I have an ectopic pregnancy? It's like, "You went through menopause, mom," or whatever, but they start getting scared about certain things, and that comes from somewhere. And Mayor, you have a major windstorm. Oh my goodness. Stay safe. Uh, Now I like safe windstorms when it's the right temperature. But yeah, if it's like a storm, I don't like those. Definitely stay safe. Samantha says, "I plainly didn't know what I was marrying." Then you go, "Hi, Mayor. My life sucks. Hi, Mayor." Oh, Sammy. Um, yeah, sometimes we don't. Sometimes, uh, like I said, my mom was transferred by ER or to the ER yesterday, so I am checking my phone as we talk, even though that's rude. Because in the middle of live chat last night, my sister was like, busting mom out of her place. They weren't taking care of her. Um, my mo my mom's happy there's no roommate falling out of bed right now, though. Yeah, she just got her room, from the ER. She was in the ER all last night. Uh, Mayor says, "No, I didn't have anybody else. That's why I was so desperate the other night, and I'm so uncomfortable now." Yeah, I don't want you calling him again, you know? Um, you hate being disabled so much. Yeah. you want all of your power back. Is did you say you're unable to walk? I can't remember. I believe because that's real hard. Like, and I mean walk with crutches or walk with walker or whatever. Are you able to move around at all? Um, because that's even harder. I've been on crutches in a wheelchair, but I could still. I broke my leg and my arm. I was on crutches, fell off my crutches and broke my arm. So I'm accident prone. Um, Sam, Mara, kids always come with me, hands down. Yes. Mayor says, I really need options to calling the guy who was inappropriate with me to help me. I want all of my power back. Is there anybody that you can call? Are there any services in your area? And you don't have to share that, but I don't know how much money you have. You know, if you're able to hire like Meals on Wheels where they bring food to your place. You own your own home. Yeah, I think I remember you saying that. I just don't own. Yes, you did tell me that. Okay. Um, that's uh, so you do have your own place. So there's probably space in between, which it's kind of nice where I live. There's a townhouse, a town home, so I can just go right next door and people across the street that I don't really know, but in an emergency. But Mayor says, Samantha, then take your kids with you if you're in a toxic situation. I know it can be easier said than done. I've been there. It's worth doing, but I don't know your details. I wish you the best, though. So, Sam, did you do that with the kids? Did you do that wrinkled heart where you crumple it each time? You know, you say you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, and then unfold it and show them that, you know, those wrinkles, that abuse can't be undone. It'll never be perfect again. That heart will be damaged. The visual definitely does help, you know, and you'll even hear the kids at school like, "You hurt my heart," you know. Um, Mayor says, Cynthia, is there any way you can be my buddy through the storm and maybe be my bridge to the other side somehow? Light a candle for you or something. Oh gosh. Um, your bridge to the other side of the storm. I'm hooked up where I don't have. I can get you a candle. You guys wanna hold on while I get a candle? I got the fireplace going. Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm definitely your buddy through the storm, and there's a way over. So I'm gonna do this for you, Merrick. Can you guys hold on? I am gonna go get a candle. Is that cool with you guys? I'm gonna get a candle. You guys are awesome. I'll be real quick. All right, guys, I got a candle. Here we go. Let's get a nice little candle going. And remember, I'm a burn victim. So let's see how well this goes. But we'll light you. There we go. Get a little candle going for you. Ah, hold on, guys. There we go. I'm going to have to stay away. This makes me so nervous, especially with long hair. All right, let me get this so I don't catch on fire. So here's the candle for Mayor. There we go. Beautiful candle that I have to stay away from. All right. I don't want this to fall off my table. But yes, I'm definitely here. Oh, I don't know if this is a good idea. Ah, hold on, guys. Technical difficulties. The fire going. Yeah, fire scares me. Uh, Also, please, some really good advice before I have to go. Um, and oh, you don't have any electricity. You are having it tough right now. Um, Gosh, you're not in America, correct? UK? Um, he should have cut the whole tree down when he came here. He didn't cut enough branches off for this one, or it wouldn't be happening. I don't want to call him. I need alternatives, and more rain and wind are coming. Are you able to call the electric company because they might be able to bring a tree service out there if it's anywhere near electrical lines? Um, There's Nathan. We need some help for Mare. She's going through kind of like an emergency situation. Um, she's really doesn't really have battery life on her phone. Her electric's out. There's a windstorm. There's a tree scraping against her shingles, and um, Bozo the clown. Ooh, the 70s. Wants their house back? You don't like my house? Bozo the clown. That's okay. I like my house. You don't have to. Is that what you're saying? You don't like my house? Oh, that's all right. You don't have to. Nathan says, "Hey Sam, Mayor, with the branch hit the roof, I thought the ceiling was gonna come down on my head. I'm grateful that it didn't, but I really need advice. You're isolated there. Thank you, Jen. Normally I love storms. I just can't handle more damage to my home or any more time without heat. I already spent a year without it this past year. Jen, are you in it near Humboldt? Get those battery operated candles. They look real." Yeah, I should. I know. This is gonna be burnt out pretty soon because it is scaring me. It's too close to my hair. Jen says, "I love candles. We have a dark sky in California today, so I will light one too." Yes, and I don't mind having it, but it's just too close to my hair, and I'm clumsy, and it's on the edge of my table. Whee! Sam says, "Hey to Nathan." Um, yeah, I don't know your services out there, what can really help you. Um, you know, even maybe even call the non-emergency police department number and say, "Hey, I don't have food, I don't have this," or, um, city offices might be able to help you, but I know it's probably after hours. And yeah, Lily, the battery operated ones. Mayor says, "I can walk, just not very far, and I can stand, but not for very long." So Bozo the Clown, your no, does that mean I'm too old? I'm too old and you hate my house. I'm not too old for a 70s house because I was born in the 70s. Oh, Bozo the Clown, I'm too old. Well, I can't change that. So, you know, what am I supposed to do that? Sam says, turn your phone off and save on battery mode. Yeah, save it for an emergency contact to call 911 if you need to. Maybe, I don't know, call you if you neighbors or I don't know. But if it's an emergency, contact the police department if it's that dire. Sam says, Lily, John Moran, "Hey Nathan, and I want to know what you mean I'm too old. Too old for what?" you know, I'm too old for, elementary school. I'm not in, I teach at the elementary school. Mayor says, no, they aren't. They're overwhelmed or closed. Oh gosh. Lily says, hi, Sam, driving but listening. Call. But we need to, John, we need to know who she should call. Um, I would say, uh, at least try to contact them. People stop whining. YouTube. Ah, so, you don't like narcissism channels, you're just telling us to get over it? Because the abuse can be quite devastating sometimes. Is that where you're coming from, Bozo? Fill me in a little bit. And now I'm not too old for YouTube. You might not like looking at me, but, the older you are, the more advice you can or knowledge that you sometimes have. See, when you say yes, you got, that I'm too old for YouTube? How old are you supposed to be for YouTube? Maybe. She can call McDonald's. Yeah. And, somebody just posted the puppets, those plastic puppets. Do you guys remember those plastic puppets? Where it just has ancient, old. I've been very transparent about my age. 52. I'm 52. Oh, huh. So there. I look 40, but I'm 52. How's that? Mayor says, wow, she's the best. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I am in the weirdest situation ever. I used to be helping, not needing help. Not that that matters much right now. 900. I don't have that many gray hairs, do I? Um, yeah. So, yeah, Mayor, it gets harder as we get older. Um, I don't know if you have any children or a sister or brother or aunt or uncle or cousins. Reach out to whoever you know, maybe a church, things like that. You definitely gotta see what's around you. I don't know your area, and those are some things. Try a church, try a synagogue. You know, even if you don't necessarily go there, they can sometimes help. Jen says people in their 50s watch YouTube and we don't watch the 20-year-olds. That's right. That's right. They what was the advice that TikTokers were giving? Oh, it was on skincare. It was on skincare, anti-aging skincare, and they're like, "Why am I going to listen to a 20-year-old?" Mary says, "Cynthia, I am really touched that you're doing that for me as the rain is starting to come down and I don't know what's going to happen with the roof or the ceiling." Yeah, so this is yeah, I did that for you. This candle burning right by me, this burn victim here is sitting next to fire. Gotta face your fears. But yeah, that is for you. Sometimes just lighting and it's a double flame. A double flame. We'll be twin flames, you and me. Sam's also my twin, though. It's not like a comfort zone you're in, Sam. It makes you unhappy. Take action, and that's true too. We need to feel safe in our lives to allow our children to be safe because they're going to pick up on our energy. Cynthia Block Bozo. I don't know how to do that. As long as Bozo kind of settles down. Otherwise, yes, Bozo. I am in the power position. People forget that. So yeah, we'll see what Bozo says. Otherwise, yeah. All right, Bozo, last warning. Last warning. You gotta you gotta be kind. This is sometimes too when people act out, just so you know, something's going on. So Bozo, you doing okay? How are you doing? There's a reason you wanted to call me old. There's a reason why you wanted to make fun of my house. Like I'm cool. I can handle it. So it's something with you. Just saying. But what's a joke, Bozo? She's not too old. Look at her. She's a shining princess. You're sweet. Thank you, Samantha. And that's something I can't change. You want to make fun of me for something I can't change, Thank you. Thank you, Bozo. But whether we're mentally ill or recovering from some of the abuse, there's a lot of people with things going on, and the way they act, the way we're interacting with each other, we can either support each other or cut each other down. And just remember, there's going to be times that each one of us is going to need somebody to be there. So, Bozo, there might be times that you need somebody in life, so these people are supporting each other. And that's just a much healthier way to live. There's no reason, like, that's fine. You think I'm old, you think I'm ugly, whatever, that's fine. But what does that change? I need the loony house. All right, Bozo. Peace out. Oh, if you believe you're in danger, please contact your local law enforcement. Thanks for your report. We will. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm going to put you in. You got to go to timeout. Okay. I put him in timeout for 300 seconds. Bozo's gaslighter. Oh, oh, poor guy. Yeah, troll. And that's the thing though, that like that just shows you there's something up with people. Like that's cool. There's people I think are old, think uglier than me or whatever things like that, but it doesn't it's not necessarily to say anything. But you have really long hair too, and I have to try not to set myself on fire frequently. Yes, it's happened. So yeah, Bozo is gone for 300 seconds. And if they come, I reported him too. So, uh, I I'm not oh, you guys are so sweet, thank you. Bozo's a gaslighter. Did I handle it okay, though? John says, "Do we need a gerbil police on the case? If he comes back in 300 seconds, get him all suited up." Mayor, I'm glad you can protect us. I didn't like looking at the clown face for his identifier anyways. Um, some people are. My daughter doesn't like clowns. She hates clowns. Um, a lot of people don't, yeah. And JG, the gerbil police, he's a member of Narcs Anonymous, LOL. Yes. So perfect that he's called Bozo because that's what a lot of our narcissists were. I like that, Sam. The gerbil police. Yeah, that's what John has a lot of animals like gerbils and hamsters. So JG, he's talking about sending in his little creatures. And I'll tell you what, that'd be effective on me. That yeah, I think I'm more afraid of gerbils running around loose. but but yeah, there was a need for him to say something, you know. Maybe they don't feel very confident, so they need to uh, cut down my looks. And I'm confident enough, you know, whether I think I'm pretty or not, I can still show you who I am. So my profile picture, you see my profile picture. Did Bozo have their profile picture? They didn't have their own profile picture. They're not confident enough. You know, they're hiding behind that facade, you know, and it's uh interesting. If you're talking to me, I have a daughter. If you're talking to me, um who is 30. Sam says he's a member. Oh, I saw that. John says, hamster has an underground bunker. All the team creatures meet there and make plans to save the world. You're so silly. Mayor, you have family all around. That's wonderful. I'm happy for and every you know every family has some issues, but I have a pretty good family. I do have a pretty good family. There are ups and downs. There's miscommunication sometimes, but I was pretty lucky. I definitely was pretty lucky. uh, well, you only had 30%, 36% left on your phone. What do you think I should do, Cynthia? There's a branch on my roof that scrapes shingles off the roof when the wind blows. Contact your fire department. Contact your fire department. That just clicked in. Definitely contact your fire department. Okay. I want you to do that. And if you can check in, do that. But contact the fire department now. Yeah. I think that's what you need to do. And keep us posted. Lots of love to you. Stay safe. The fire department's the best. They'll probably come out. JG got my debit card. Yeah, I think that's the right advice. You got your debit card? Go on and give me a super chat. Like, you got your debit card for what? What? I, I don't know why you say you have your debit card. But that's great. Debit cards are nice. So, I'm not sure where that's going from. So yes, hopefully Mayor is going to go do that. Cynthia, please, I need your attention. I've got to get off here. I wouldn't even be able to call an emergency number. Not that I would, considering how hospitals are these days. Um, okay, so I think what you need to do is call the fire department. I want to say you're in the UK. I can't remember exactly where you are. Fire department or the police, and uh, I okay, then you can understand that I'm also under the pressure of my daughter not having contact me. She's confused about the reason. Oh, okay. Um, I think I missed that then. Uh, but imagine that on top of everything else, it's just incredible. It's like life is trying to murder you, and I really don't want to die at you guys. But I'm tired of it hurting so much. Um, Bozo, I've already reported you. Um, okay, so I just hit him. Hidden. I have him hidden now. Ridiculous. There's just something it does to you when you realize that you are completely alone, and it gets you all the way to your bone marrow, and you can feel it change your blood chemistry when it hits you. Um, yeah, a lot of that too is like all the stress that you're going through, and feeling isolated and scared and violated. You're going through a lot right now. You know, the resources by you are going to be able to help you, but you have to reach out to them. And, you know, are you able, I can't remember, are you able to contact your daughter and just tell her it's an emergency at all? Yeah, you're going through a lot of anxiety right now. Uh, yeah, you thought of that and they're close by. So if it gets any worse, that's what I'll do. Thank you for giving me a concrete option to calling that guy and for your patience on this chat. Um, yeah, I don't think you should contact him. You know, but yeah, call the fire department, the police department. Sometimes they can even give you a food package for the night. Uh, but you have to reach out to somebody and they can and ask them, what other options do I have? And then, contact churches or we have something called Salvation Army, a YWCA where it's uh, like through donations, people raise money and there might be food banks. Um, you just keep reaching out and asking people. Um, Yeah, and I know you got 36%. That's still enough time to get this done, though. So go ahead and do that and check back in after you contact those people. I don't want you wasting your battery here. I've given you the best advice that I can. You're welcome to stay, but I want you to take care of what you need to take care of. The fire department will take care of that tree branch. Um, and then, because they get cats out of trees, they can help you with that. They got the ladders to take care of it. So, Mayor, contact the fire department, and then they can also give you some other resources. You are on the coast of. Oh, I'm sorry. You're in Northern California. I'm sorry. I get people confused as far as location, and there's no wind at the moment, so I don't think they'd come right now. But if it gets worse, no, do that now. Go ahead and do it now. You know, yeah, they can help with things like that. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. I had them come out because my, carbon monoxide thing was beeping and there was nothing wrong. It was just a low battery and they were very understanding. So call the fire department, please. Uh, we only have highway patrol. You don't have a fire department in your area or sheriff's department? Is it all just highway? Chips Highway Patrol, Eric Estrada. They would tell you to call roofers or a tree service. Ah, if there is, I don't know. I would give it a try. I would give it a try. I would, and they can say no, but I would give it a try because they would come out here, and I'm in Michigan. I know California is kind of different, but it's worth a try. It is worth a try. And we have somebody else here in California, don't we? Brenda. Sam says, I'd come help you and feed you, Mayor. I know I would too. Lily says, hi to JG and Calibri. Calibri, good to see you. And yeah, we got a lot going on. So, Mayor, I'd like you to reach out to one of those, either your daughter or the police department or the fire department. So you missed it, Calibri. We had a little harasser in here who was giving us a hard time. And thank you guys. I see those thumbs up that you guys are giving me, helping me with that algorithm. That's definitely appreciated. From an earthquake, if you're talking about the tree branch, I think it's from the windstorm, maybe. I don't know. Was there an earthquake out in California recently? Calibri says hello to Lily. So we sent Mayor lots of love, and I'm going to blow this candle out so I don't catch my hair on fire. She asked for a candle, so I went ahead and did that. Oh, Should we tell Calibri what happened? We had Bozo the clown join us and was telling me how old I am. It's one of those days. Um, Telling me how old I look, that I'm too old for YouTube. And then I think he said he thought I looked 40. And I'm like, well, I'm 52. So I think I'm doing all right. But he told me my house was from the 70s. And what else did he say? I don't even know. That I'm too old for YouTube. And so I just, asked him to be nice. And oh, he's telling everybody to quit whining. So I gave him a warning. And yeah. Isn't that nice? So like, hi, welcome. Let's have a chat. And then he's just, yeah, he didn't say one nice thing. He just told everybody to stop whining. And it just goes to show you, oh, somebody else gave me a thumbs up for my algorithm. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely a narky attitude. Or I have a feeling he was young. And that's the thing too, is he could be like a 40, 50-year-old. Well, he's probably young if he's calling me old. But like 30 or younger. But yeah, it's like, what's the purpose? The reason he wanted to be heard. He just wanted to be heard, and uh, you know, uh, it's just interesting. Mayor says this county does not have the resources that you think it does. I know you're intelligent. I know. I'm. This is who I am, and I get very aggressive on things, and that's how I find things is kind of weeding through. So that's me. And I'm not saying you're not intelligent. It's just sometimes I've learned that there are hidden things that sometimes, um, you know, you've reached out and no one is even answering their phones today. There's no power anywhere, but I've done what you're saying. And I understand, but it's not like that here. I wish it was though. Oh, so you are rural. Okay, rural, you're right. Completely different. And definitely underserved. I lived a little bit rural. There's like a city and then the rural portion. But yeah, like my parents, they're pretty rural. Uh, I bet it's beautiful though. You used to live in San Francisco. So yeah, I've been to San Francisco. I bet it is a different planet if it's rural. Um, Gosh, I don't know your area. I'll have to do some research. Um, does anybody have some advice for her what to do? She's got a tree branch knocking her shingles off. She says she lives rural and there isn't really people. Um, Mayor, fire department will not get up on your roof and cut a branch. They will not do it. Hmm. Okay, I was hoping they would do it just to preserve possibly having it fly into somebody and getting somebody else hurt. But yeah, I know everybody's about money and it's a different world. People used to help each other. It sucks. My neighbor used to be a tree service person, and I'm in Michigan though. Gosh, Kalibi says a couple of narcs were out in the hallway today. They're trying to bamboozle a new guy. Oh, Calibri. We're doing our little soap opera with Calibri. We got to get a little title for this. They tried to present themselves as nice and pleasant if this guy only knew. Yeah. I'll find out soon enough. Oh, Mayor, you're on my mind. Lily says Bozo could not have been a 9-year-old. Could have been could not. Yeah, he was he, yeah, and he just wanted to get a reaction, and that's typical narcissistic trait. So whether he was 9 years old, that's what the narcissist it's like they don't even care what the topic is. Let's just go attack someone. They'll kind of hone in on something. So those are like the crappy ones, but sometimes, when they want a connection with somebody, um, they come across as nice and then they kind of attack. They just go back into that childlike state. And it is interesting. And it takes a lot of depth to really look deep into it to kind of grasp about the mirroring and then how we become dependent and why it hurts so bad, why we get stuck in it. Calibri says maybe an aging narc with a 9-year-old brain. Yeah. they even say sometimes it's like a 2-year-old brain, emotionally. And think about what toddlers are like, how they act. That's what the vulnerable narcissists I know are like. The other ones are, maybe a little more developed, like a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old. They have some concept, but it's very flighty. Uh, not all not all little kids are like that though either, Some are really sweet, but if you tell them to stop doing something, they just go right back to doing it. Even if they're the kind kids, they're hard. Kindergarten. Oh, kindergarten. I got 3 kindergarten classes in a row on Fridays. They give you a run for your money. It's like constantly, constantly. And they know, yes, we have to do this. We have to sit down. We have to do this. And they just don't do it, even if they're the sweet kids. Some are perfect, though. Some are really good. Ebony, good to see you. How's your day going today, Ebony? I know Mayor's having kind of a difficult time out in the middle of nowhere. Lily said, Ebony's in the house. Yeah, so Ebony is definitely in the house. Lots of love here for you. And thank you. I keep seeing those thumbs up, helping with my algorithm. Um, yeah, Mayor, that's the only thing I would know to do. You have no heat and it's really cold. Yeah, and I want you to be careful, on how you heat your place. How cold is it where you are? Because you're up north, right? Layer up. I don't know if I can see the message where I said I cannot contact your daughter. She's gone. No contact. She thinks that's best for her. I know, but do you even have her number? She wants to go no contact. I know that sucks. I don't know if you could say it's an emergency, if she would respond. Um, it's so hard. Yeah, because sometimes, hmm. I don't know, Mayor. If it's an emergency, you might be able to. I don't remember if you still. Yeah, JG thinks I know I camped out without winter gear in here for a year last year. I hope this gets better instead of worse. Yeah. Um, you got February coming up too. We got to get you some solutions. Uh, yeah, because it's gonna get colder. It's gonna get colder, Mayor. We have a break in the weather, at least where I'm at. Um, but usually February is getting really close. Thanks, not thanks. Don't you love that when you got to type it 100 zillion different times? Does my family know that you are on YouTube? And I believe you're asking me instead of Mayor. Um, my dad popped up. He saw me on just because of my name, connected to my name. Kind of, but I don't really promote it because I do talk about personal things. If they find it, they find it. My mom knows, uh, and like my sisters know, but I do talk about my daughter's father, and she's her and I aren't really talking right now, unfortunately. Um, so I've told her that I've done a lot of research and things like that. But um, Ebony says, "Thanks for the shout out, Lily." Ebony says, "My day started out emotionally rough per the usual, but I did manage to make an appointment with a new therapist. Looking forward to it." Yeah, get the right kind of therapist because I believe you were saying that yours was kinda, like, brash or whatever with you where it was, like, overpowering. So that's good. Yeah, you definitely want someone who's a good fit. Mayor says, "Hungry and cold, and the branch is starting to slam the roof again. Damn, I wish my dog was still alive." Um, gosh. Mayor says, "Yeah, JG thing." Oh, okay. There's gotta be some resources for you, Mayor. Um, Unfortunately, you're gonna have to call around. You're gonna have to ask, "What can I do?" Um, and I don't know your area. And The main thing is to keep you safe. Are there any warming houses or whatever they would call it? Uh, you know, a ask if there's some warming shelters, and the police department would be able to tell you that. Yeah, see if there's any warming shelters. They would have food for you too. And that's why, brainstorm as much as you can and just reach out and keep asking questions. You're going to pick the brains of different people. That's what I would do. Reach out to the police department, ask if they have warming stations, tell them you're elderly and you don't really have food. It depends on which cop you get. Some cops will help more than others. Uh, but, definitely, I wouldn't just sit there. I would call as many different places as you can. I know you're going through a hard time too. Um, and then Lily says, "Are you JG?" What do you mean, are you JG? JG says, "Get a plastic trash bag and put your legs inside of it. Plastic keeps your body heat inside. Effective way to stay warm." And Mayor, that could be good advice. That the plastic will trap some of the heat. Don't put it over your head, but and I wouldn't suggest putting on your pillows, but that can keep that makes sense. That would trap some heat. John says, "I'm still here, just multitasking, listening, and project making." C says, "I would recommend you save your battery, Mayor." Yeah. th- I love having you here. I'm sure you want some emotional support, but I would at least contact the police department and ask if they have any warming centers or any food banks. Just tell me you're in dire straits and see what they do, you know, uh, and without having electricity, uh, you probably want to call them now. Jen says, "My daughter is very defensive of her dad, even though I would never badmouth him to her. It's just that he plays a victim." Yeah, that, uh, that can get frustrating. Sometimes we go, "Are you seeing the big picture?" We're like, can't badmouth daddy. Um, yeah, a little daddy's girl, Jen. Um, yeah, and sometimes the narcissist loves to play that victim. Ebony says it's a male therapist, which is different from me, but he might be best considering I was dealing with a male narc. Could be, could be. And yeah, it might be a good fit. It might be a good fit. Mayor says, "I'm at 30% and it's cold and I'm hungry and I hope things get better instead of worse. Just got to get through the night and I'll try calling every place again when the rats destroyed your heater system." Oh, and I know it's cold. Please call the police department and tell them you're elderly. Tell them you don't have food, electricity. Ask, and I know, and you plan to meet with the Human Rights Commissioner because I worry about people even more vulnerable than me. Yeah, I wish I knew your area better. Thanks to all of you, and I hope you all feel better. And Cynthia, please do think of me and see things getting better. And Mayor, I'm going to say a prayer for you. I'm definitely going to say a prayer for you. And you know, I want you to say one too. If you believe in your God, so it'll be okay. Reach out to people and tell them I'm in dire straits. Let them know. Um, don't be as aggressive as you can. Kind, but let them know I need help. I need help. And you know, yeah, the two. That's excellent advice with the why thumbs down. Who did thumbs down? Oh, I'm with you, Mayor. Why thumbs down? Yeah, JG. Why thumbs down? No thumbs down. Lots of prayers, Mayor. It'll be okay. And check back with us, okay? So that's what I want you to do right now. Even if you don't want to, contact the police, non-emergency, and say I'm in dire straits, or just even if it is the highway patrol. There's no sheriff's department or anything, but that's what I want you to do. Reach out to at least one person Ebony says, Mayor, I'm sorry for what you're going through. Bundle up, definitely. You know, I don't, I don't know how. Oh, you don't have electricity. I was gonna say I don't know how the water works. If you got a, I was gonna tell you to fill up some water, but yeah, keep me posted, Mayor. Uh, Luckily, the electricity should be on hopefully sooner, but I don't like the fact you've been without heat for a whole year. That's not good, especially I know it gets cold up there. So lots of love. And, that's what's really nice about this channel, though, is that we can help each other through different things. And for some of you joining in late, we did talk about about how sensory deprivation can affect the narcissist. Or how it relates to narcissism. And I had mentioned how, you know, you're out of here, JG. Oh, that's why it's thumbs down. Oh, dang it. All right, JG, thanks for hanging in and hanging out with us. And I hope to see you again soon. JG, thanks for being here. And yeah, John's with you, Mayor. Peace out. Thanks, JG. um, but the sensory deprivation causes your brain to overcompensate, and when our narcissist goes through different kinds of abuse tactics, they're overcompensating for things that are missing within that brain, and sometimes it's just boredom. You know how we. Sometimes even just feeling things, how people will use those to kind of calm themselves. They have those little fidget spinners or just different things. There's a certain amount of energy or stimulation that needs to go on to keep a person balanced. And certain things overload people. Like I was looking at something. Yeah, JG left us. He said, peace. And yeah, I just saw already left us. Too late, already gone. But unless it was Mayor, maybe it was Mayor that just left. But there's a lot of struggles in this world. You know, you're touched, starved. You're touch starved. Yes. Yeah. And I know you said that your family isn't really emotional, I guess. So they're not really like huggy or some parents they don't hold the kids' hands. Uh, so everybody's comfort level is going to be different, how close people stand to each other. Some of that's cultural. Like in Japan, people, what is it? I can't remember how many inches now. Um, but we have like quite a bit different social distancing, and what's comfortable to us. So being touch starved, those are often the people that don't like to really cuddle. Sam says, I get it. See, I really do. We all need those meaningful touches. Yeah. And sometimes too, when we start being single again, that, we miss the hugs from certain people, and um, i- it's changing too. We used to shake people's hands. Now we don't do that as much because of COVID. And with sexual harassment, we don't hug each other as much. Even the kids at school, we're not supposed to hug the kids. And, um, you know, uh, it, it's evolving, it's changing how society is going to be. You know, it's also changing how we raise boys and girls. It used to be um, telling the boys, tough, be quiet, don't cry, tough it out, or fight back. And then the girls kind of taught the opposite, be soft, maternal. Now it's going to change, and um, you also have generational gaps, so there's going to be more frustrations, and we've been around for how many millions of years? You'd think we'd get it together by now, but part of it is the ever changing. Also with the internet, it's good that we can come together here. We were really lucky during COVID to have the options to Zoom call people that were really close to us. So we could still see them, see their smiles. You say you never get cuddles from your husband. And C says, I get it. See, I really do. We all need those meaningful touches. You never get cuddles. Um, that's hard. That's hard. How does he react when you ask? Do you ever say, "Can you just sit and cuddle with me?" Even for 15 minutes, you know, he might not want to sit and watch a full movie. I know it's hard with 3 kids too, though. And C says, "I'm longing for a companion." And um, I can understand that. I can understand that. You know, uh, it's something that we have to realize that we want it, but not to be too anxious about it. Or, if you start dating, that you don't latch on too tight, um, because you want it so much that sometimes it can be self-sabotaging. Uh, just because I want extra communication, I thought you were the one, and so just be careful with that. That your desire to be with somebody doesn't overshadow making sure it's the right person, because there's a lot of mistakes with narcissists, and a lot of times they hone in on people who are, um, you know, either lost, sad, or sometimes overly compassionate. Sometimes being overly compassionate can cause them to use us sometimes. And it's weird the way the dynamics work on how being too giving people start taking advantage of it. I watched a video or a movie yesterday. What was it, 21 Jump Street, the movie? And it was interesting how, and I'm going to say how the movie turns out. So if you don't want to hear it, you guys can log off, because I'm not going to, and you can log back in 5 minutes. But so 3, 2, 1. So in the movie, it turns out where, the jock is, super cool and sexy, and then the other guy is kind of meek, and he's the smart one. He's the dumb jock, and they I, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but so they become police officers, go undercover, and they're doing this little drug bust sting. And so they got the names mixed up. And so he's uh, one is, uh, they switch roles. So the smart one is doing the bimbo classes, and the other one doing the harder ones and struggling with it. So they go through all the things, and the gist of the story is once, kind of like the nerdy one, uh, he also froze. He also was scared of rejection. He also went through rejection, and it just kind of destroyed his life. So once he gets into the power of where he's doing a good job, he is, the girls in high school are starting to like him, and he's getting a kick out of it. So he's utilizing that self-esteem. Now he's all powered up, that he's starting to forget about his friend. He's talking behind his friend's back and destroying those relationships and just the arguments. And it was interesting to see how they did it in the movie. And granted, it's a movie, but how once somebody feels on top, they can take advantage of it and forget the people underneath them. Um, and it was a role reversal. Uh, so John says, "It's okay. See, I just lost my girlfriend this year to cancer. It's been a while since I got an actual hug." Yeah. And you were very lucky to have her for 40 years, but that's hard once they're gone, you know. We all need a true hug. So it'll happen, see, it'll happen. Um, you know, have to believe in it. We talked yesterday for the live chat. I think it was pretty cool how we see that we can manifest a lot of things. So you just work on yourself, just believe it's going to happen. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. And you're going to talk the right way. Um, your energy, your vibe will be right. It won't be a desperate vibe. Uh, but you gotta believe it. You gotta believe it. Make yourself believe it that it'll happen. Why would you want cuddles from someone that puts you down and is mean? Yeah, good point. I am asking. But sometimes we want that cuddle to make it better. But you're right. I get what you say. Uh and we have to look at that. We have to look at that. Like he's being kind of dicky to you, being kind of dicky around the kids, and you know, you're sad you're not getting cuddles. And I get it. I get it. But it something worth looking within us. Like, hmm. And that's why I had to go back to, that love bombing stage where everything seemed better. Um, Good point, Lately. I get that. Uh, but I also know where Sam's coming from too. Calibri, I've noticed yesterday the male narc was giving me puppy eyes. Look, I quietly uttered, ew. Well, quit being so sexy, Calibri. And yeah, keep us posted on the soap opera. Oh, Sam says I have, but he says not in front of the kids, not now. Well, then ask him when. Ask him when. I know. And that's the thing though, like makeout session in front of the kids is different, but just leaning up against each other while you're watching a show. But some people, don't believe in that too. And that's where, you know, things should, I guess, be discussed. And it's okay to ask them then when can we do it? And not in a demanding way, but say, okay, I'm looking forward to it. When can we do it? Let's set this up. And it's the way you say it too. You gotta say it with confidence instead of, "But I'm sick of you never," you just communication, but you gotta communicate in the right way. Um, and it's hard when our energy starts getting low. We're frustrated. We're lonely. We need some attention, and we're supposed to be all like, "All right, well, I'll see you in 15 minutes then." And you're like, "Oh my gosh!" But C says, I can't remember the last time I hug someone and actually liked it. It must be around 10 years ago or something. That's hard, see. Yeah, because there's times we get hugs, but you're like, this isn't really touching my heart like I need it to. Um, yeah, it's gonna be hard. We got to take some chances on people sometimes too. Some of us shut down, or we're scared or afraid, or self-sabotaging. We're like, it's not gonna work anyways. And it. Ebony says, I vowed never ever to give more than to receive in a relationship from now henceforth and forever. Not going to happen. That's one of the things I wish I could take back. All of my sacrifices to the devil, Mark. Um, yeah, yeah, keep it fairly even, where both are receiving and giving about the same amount. Because there's going to be times, that to get it back on track, you're at 49, so you bump it up to 51, and then he brings it up back and forth. But yeah, as long as it's evening out pretty much, don't keep like a super tight uh, track record, but you'll be able to feel it. Yeah, there's times we just have to back off, and that's where we're going to see how much they respect us, and that's how they're going to know what we feel we're worth. And if we can show them what we feel we're worth, um, you know, that we're treated that way, or we're not willing to do it, and that's how we get treated the right way. If we don't entertain people who don't, and I think this is what hurts too, is that you know during the relationship, they're not treating us how we see ourselves, and that's why it hurts. In the beginning, they're treating us how we thought our worth was, and it's good. Everything's fine. We get to be ourselves. But when they start cutting us down, it's hurting us. And then sometimes it cuts us down that it starts rewiring our brains, damaging us, and physically hurting. Sam says, sends her condolences to John. Uh, and I understand that. Sam says, I haven't approached him for any of that in a long time, long while, Lily. Breadcrumbs is a real thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. We get to a point where like, screw it. I'm not even going to ask. It's not even worth it. But then your needs go unmet, and the breadcrumbing is definitely a real thing. And it feels hopeless. It definitely feels hopeless. C says it must have been, was what I meant. Um, okay. Yeah. Must have been around 10 years ago. Yeah. And the COVID thing, I'm sure didn't help anything either. Lily says, I don't mean that as a put down to you. It's him. You need to love yourself more this new 2023. And yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes the truth hurts, and I know Lily comes with a really kind heart. Because Sam, we can all see, like, we all are so excited when you join the group, um, that, even when you aren't in in the group chat yet, people are asking about you, Sam. Same with some of the others too. Negative attention is very detrimental and eats chunks out of you little by little. And that's why I'm so glad you guys are here, that helping with excellent advice, because that is true. It does start to destroy you. And that's, you're feeling it. It's taking pieces of your brain away. It's actually causing brain damage. So, these metaphors are actually reality. Um, and it starts messing with your organs, and it can be more detrimental than we realize. Sam says the law of attraction and what you're attracting to yourself. Very interesting. Yeah, it's definitely a law of attraction. So you've been around this merry-go-round too much. It's not that he doesn't believe in it, he's toying with me. It's a cyclical thing for years. And the same thing. And it is cyclical. It is cyclical. Drive you insane. You're like, finally, finally. There are ups and downs, but it shouldn't be like it is how with a narcissist. It should be a little more stable than that. Some are even predictable. My first one, I could always predict we were going to break up because we got along. And people are like, "What are you talking about? You guys are getting along." And I'm like, "Exactly, because you start seeing the pattern. Why would we break up if we're getting along? They don't like when things are calm. They don't like when you're happy. It gets confusing too, because sometimes they'll say that they enjoy it. Lily says those are excuses, Sam. Don't take me wrong, just care, and one should never be in toxic situations. Yeah, so if it's toxic for you, it's not good. If you like being left alone, if you like being talked down to, or if you like, um, not cuddling, then it might work for you. But it's also not a healthy outlook if you like that stuff too, because that's showing low self-esteem, and we all deserve to be treated the right way. Nathan is back for us. Excellent. Hi, Nate. And Nate saying hi to Sam and Lily. We got quite a few other people too. Calibri's here. And Brenda, are you still here? Brenda popped in. But yeah, Bozo's gone. Bozo's gone. So thanks for coming back. Yes. And we were talking about the cycle of narcissistic abuse. Lily says you have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Very, very true. Sam says, I'm trying to get out, just scared, and how to get the ball rolling is difficult also. And with children in the mix, if you don't have kids, it's a completely different ball game. Uh, that's true. It is true. Uh, Nathan, Sam says, lots of love to you. Nathan says, you need to empower yourself. We care. And we got to remember too that you should be taken care of. You got, you know, and I get it. I get it. It's hard, but it's It's pretty up there, Sam. I've heard the recordings, um, and it's been a 10-year relationship. You haven't been happy ever in 10 years. And, your kids are going to grow up around a sad mom and it's going to affect them. Kalibi says the psycho ploy that my overnight friend played didn't bode well with me. I knew I was dealing with a psycho that night. I didn't sleep a wink. I've decided to let go of him. Ooh, yeah. Uh, he stayed in the dark with just the light from his phone shone on his face. He looked crazed. Ooh, was he trying? He was trying to do like a scary face and just fuck with your mind. That's kind of creepy. That doesn't sound good. Calibri. Sam says, "Aw, thank you all for all the love. Yeah, we do love you." And Lily says, "Yeah, sounds very toxic, Calibri." And it definitely does. Um, Lily says, "Maybe you knew he would sabotage it in your gut, Cynthia." Um, which I and that's I, I'm not sure what I said, but yeah, there. If you're talking about my first one, uh, even the second one, oh, I know what you're talking about. How as soon as I knew that we were getting along, yeah, yeah, I did know. You're right. You're right. Sorry, it took me a second to, yeah, my gut knew, and I guess I was in denial over what my gut knew. Um, but that's exactly true. Lily says, sounds very toxic to Cleary. And Sam says, no, I love cuddles and do not like being called names and devalued ever. I get it daily. And Sam says, I don't even know where to start with self care besides getting out of the relationship. That's the main thing. The rest will fall into place. Like I could, eat health. Well, you do, it's good to eat healthier, but, if we have good mental health, we make better decisions. It naturally will fall more into place the more mentally healthy we are. We're going to take a little more pride in ourselves. So by that, we're either going to exercise or organize or eat better. Just all those things fall into place a little bit more. We can see a little more clearly. When you're dealing with narcissists too, we have that CPTSD and we can get brain fog. So also possibly codependency. So we you really um, feel helpless sometimes, you know. Uh, and getting out of the relationship, the safety and going through the divorce or you know I think I know you had said too, if he gets work on himself, then maybe coming back. um but it's almost like asking you to change. Do you want to change? No, you want a nice happy family, you see the way, and I'm sure you would change certain things, but it's so hard. And if he's not like he's not even willing to cuddle with you for 15 minutes, you know, um, is he really dedicated to this? He's just taking it for granted. So if you've had talks with him, he's not communicating, he's not changing, then it's always going to be toxic. It's not going to get better. Kalibi says, as I read it, believe your gut feel. If the guy is crazy, he might as well be. Yeah. Yeah. Cause you're going to feel scared anyways. So why, why put yourself through it? Why wait till the outcome? Like, oh shit. Yeah. He was a murderer. If you're uncomfortable, just trust it. Sometimes you don't even have to see what the outcome is. You just go. Good point, Calibri. Um, Yes. Sorry, Lily. Yeah, I see when I talked about my narc. Um, yeah, sometimes I'm like, "What? Well, sorry about that." But yeah, you were right. I could feel the self-sabotage. And Jen, if you want to make a narcissist cuddle, get angry and have a big fight. Never breakups. Make narcissists sexually excited. Near breakups. Yes. Yes. Um, that's interesting. Yeah, very sexually excited. They love that push pull. and it gives them power. Like, oh, now I can save the day. Come here. Or, they just crave that validation that they're still loved or whatever it is. But yeah, they can, that's why like rape, uh, you know, rape can be, sexually exciting to someone. So definitely make sure that you're consensual if you do it. But it is interesting how you're right. They can get off on it. Kalibi says, just like this crazy male narc where I live, I suspect he has the dark triad. He is dangerous. Yeah, and it's weird. You can sense that dark triad. There's something about it. Something seems off, whether it's something in their face, their eyes, their movements. Um, yeah. So, dark triad, if they are dark triad, they are definitely dangerous because they have psychopathic traits in them, So they're narcissists, psychopathic, and Machiavellianism. And they just lack the remorse, the empathy. Like they don't give a shit. So they'll do whatever it takes. And sometimes they do it out of fun. So they're very unpredictable. Something is dramatically wrong with him. Yeah, definitely stay away. Ugh, that's sad. You gotta live close to them. Sam says, Jen, that's crazy, but true. I hate it. And Jen, what did Jen say? If you want to make oh, okay. Yeah, it does make them sexually excited. And I've lived that. Sam says, you believe it's not in his heart to do different. And that's the thing. It probably isn't. It probably isn't, which makes it harder. Kalibi says a lack of remorse, no empathy, and enjoy sadism. Yeah, and sadism is wanting to hurt the people, enjoying hurting people. Uh, yeah, that's dangerous because if somebody enjoys doing it, they're going to purposely do it. They're not going to hold back. Um, and it goes in spurts too. It's like unpredictable. Lily says, yeah, that's ew. I would run if I met another narc. Jen says it's repulsive to me. Your husband is a dark triad. He is a Machiavellian fan. He's, yeah. Oh, and they can be misogynistic and that's hard. The dark triad, those are probably like the worst of the narcissists because they got psychopathic traits and um, that, yeah. So I noticed, Jen, you said husband. Are you staying with him, hoping he'll change, thinking about leaving him? I know I've had you in chat before. I got to refresh my memory. Kaliwi says, being aware what these people are is a blessing in itself. Now we know who we are dealing with. And that makes a big difference, knowing what we're dealing with, because then we can handle it a little bit better. Instead of going to help the person, maybe we need to stay away from them. Okay, you are divorcing. That's what I thought. Okay. It's just not the word X yet. Okay. All right. I just wanted to refresh. He is with his next abuse victim. Yeah, it's interesting how you put that too, but you're right. You know, um, and you know, it might be a little stressful during the divorce time. I don't know how you're feeling about that, but after it's all over, you can have a lot more peace. Hopefully, you have a little bit more peace now. Sometimes just making that decision, you know, that it's time to leave. You're not living the life you're meant to live, and that's taking charge of your life. You know, it might not be how we had hoped things would turn out, but they're not turning out how we wanted, and life's not over. The main thing is just that it's not toxic. You know, I don't want you guys living in pain. And having when you're living in that pain, and you're trying to fix it or trying to understand it, you're overloading your brain, and that's why you feel so exhausted. Yeah. So yeah, Jen, I'm very happy to hear. It's like I'm so happy to have you gone. Calibri says psychologists. Tell me, what about psychologists? Hmm, I think you have a point on psychologists. John says I do. I see him as a demon. Some of them can seem so evil, and you said yours was the dark triad, most likely. Kalibi says it's up to us to educate ourselves on how to deal with them, navigate around them. Thank to YouTube's life coaches and psychologists. I see where that comes in. Um, yeah, I want to be here to help you guys as much as needed. If you guys have questions, I do a lot of research too. So if you need me to research something, I can do that. Got a lot of good advice from some of the other viewers too. Um, but you're right, Calibri. We're lucky that we have access to whether it's YouTube, or what the psychologists have studied. Sam says my husband wants to take revenge on men. Did you pick on that, Cynthia, from the recording? Um, which one? Which I know he. Maybe I missed listening to one. I know he plays the victim and doesn't want to listen, doesn't process what is said. He shuts you down. He's so caught up in what he is saying. Um, I don't remember a man being involved in. Are you saying? Let me know, Sam, because I want to answer that correctly for you. Lily says, "Same with me, Jen. The loser is gone." Lily says, "What is it going to take, Sam?" Yeah, yeah, you're sticking it out a lot. So are you 100% where your mind's made up, or you're still unsure? I think that's probably the most important question. If she's not ready to go, but you're right, what's it going to take? He's abusive around the kids. Like I said, I've heard those recordings. I'm not sure which one you're talking about other men. I know, like the big shoot to do. You know. The drawers, and you know the other thing too, though, is that he hears you like, oh sweet baby, being real sweet to the kids, and that might tick him off because he's not getting that at that time. So he could be jealous of the kids too when you do that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be saying those things to the kid, but that could be a trigger for him too. So even though you're like, what am I doing? I'm just taking care of my kids. Trying to calm him when he's being a jerk. That could be a trigger. And you're like, I didn't even realize that sometimes. And Jen says to Lily, yay, congrats. The future has some hope now. Yes. And Sam says, revenge on me. I meant sorry. Oh, okay. That's what I was like, what? I didn't remember any men. Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah. He wants to punish you. He wants to punish you. He wants you to put you in your place. He doesn't want to hear what you have to say. And it goes deeper than that because it's extra bombardment. So, he's not just going to say, I'm pissed off. The house looks like it's a mess, and leave it at that. He continues on like, you're a shitty mom and you don't do anything and you're not watching the kids, and how could you be, and you know well, he said something about the breakfast too, that you were taking too long, or I can't remember. It's like, whoa, like it's over the top, and it's like, okay, you're already making me kind of trying to make me feel small, but it's like, geez, like stop. You're emotionally beating you down a little more than should be, especially how often you say daily too. You say daily. Ebony says, someone told me something interesting that I already felt. The fifth of a monster I dealt with has a vendetta against women, hence why he inevitably hurts them. I believe that in my soul. And I know that's a great point, Ebony. People kept telling me that about my first one. you know? And I'm like, "What?" You know, 'cause, um, we did the smoochy smoochies and, it's like, "What? He hates women?" But yeah, yeah, it's interesting how they hate, a woman. Uh, whether it's that we're too emotional or, we have power over our bodies and we can say no to having sex if we don't want to, or we're not robots. So if our stomachs are upset that we said no, or whatever it is, like they hate little things. They might be jealous if we're smarter, and it depends. I'm not saying sometimes men are, sometimes women are, but yeah, and they just lash out eventually. Yep. The fifth of a monster I dealt with. Oh, filth. The filth of a monster. Okay. Yeah, they can be filthy. Sorry. I don't have the best eyesight. Plus, I try not to be way up in the camera. If you see a lot of YouTubers, when we get too close, it's just so we can see the screen. Maybe I should do it on my I don't know. Can I record? Had the camera above my TV so I can read? What do you think? I don't know. Can I do that? That might be easier. But then you got the controls. That's what gets so confusing, doing the controls and all that. Um, yeah, he does do that, Sam. And interesting, Ebony. Lily says, yeah, for sure they hate women. Probably hated their mom or mom was a narc. I can tell my ex mother-in-law was very self-centered and cold. Yeah. And, that's probably some of what your ex picked up on. Sam, do you think he's on the psychopath or sociopath side? Uh, Nathan, you are so sweet. Did you hear? I was getting my ass reamed by Bozo the Clown today. Had to kick him out. You're so sweet, Nathan. Yeah, he was telling me I'm too old to be a YouTuber. And he's like, he thought I was 40. And I'm like, I'm 52. So I just love it that his perception was kind of like a compliment if you think about it. But trying to insult me with a compliment is all good. But thank you, Nathan. Oh, you're asking me if I think he's on the sociopath or psychopath side? Uh, Nathan's asking if you're okay, Sam. No. Dark triad. Well, damn, that's got like psychopath in it. Um, a smidge of it. A smidge of it. Full blown no. But yeah. Um, maybe not quite yet, but he could get pushed to that. He's got traits. I don't know if I would say full blown. But the more damage that goes to his brain, you know, uh, you think a sociopath? Yeah, psychopath is born. He's probably not a psychopath, but a sociopath would be more appropriate, is my take. Uh, and Victoria, I love how you spell your name. That's cool. Victoria. Hi. Good to have you join us. We have a great group here. But Lily says ex-narc was rageaholic, catastrophic thinking, pessimistic, uh, grew worse as time went on. I had to get my daughter away or she'd be made crazy. So your kid, Sam. What is a soul survivor? You are hopefully going to be a soul survivor. The soul is what's inside us, what makes us tick. And our narcissist, when we're going through narcissistic abuse, that it can kind of tear away at our soul. So we're healing, we're getting back to ourselves, we're getting our soul back in check and feeling alive and vibrant again. So that's why we're survivors. We made it through the storm. So welcome to the channel. Sam says, I want to be done with the garbage. Wish husband would agree to separate. Then that's the thing. You're giving him the power and I did it too, but no. we want them to tell no, and this is where it gets hard. You're a bit worn down. Um, you're welcome, Victoria. Uh, and we have to take a stand. You know, he doesn't have to agree because he's probably not going to. Just like you said, I want him to leave the house, and he is not going to see it the same way because he is paying the bills. Do you have a right to the house? You guys made that agreement, yes, but you you want the relationship over, then you have to do what needs to be done. You can ask him, how are we going to handle this? And if he says, I don't know, or I'm not leaving the house, and it's like, okay, then I am. Or I think you should let me stay here because of the kids. But you have to take charge of it. You have to take charge of it. Um, I don't know if I have a good example. Um, but yeah, we're giving them the power. That's why they see us as weak. Uh, you know, and have you even discussed it? Like, you want him to agree, but have you even discussed it? Discussed it. Because if you haven't even discussed it, how do you know he's agreeable or not? Do you want him to bring up the conversation? So you need to bring up the conversation, but go in there with knowing what your purpose is. Um, and Nathan says, I pray for you, Sam. Nathan says, take your power back. Yeah. And that's hard after you've, been in that situation. You're kind of the submissive wife. You're the stay-at-home mom, the homeschooler for the children. He's the bill payer, and you know, he doesn't let you get a word in edgewise. Um, and you might be a little scared of him too. Are you scared to have that talk? And I'm not talking scared like, where's the money going to come from? Are you scared of your safety in the conversation? Um, so we got Victoria here too. Feel free to let us know your story or comment. We got a great group of people here, and if you want to just sit and listen, you can do that too. But yeah, we definitely want you to be safe. Women are emotionally stronger than men. We are more I think we're more able to show our emotions. Men seem to repress them more, so there's more frustrations. I don't know on that one. What do you guys think? Do you think women are stronger emotionally? Also depends on the woman. Definitely depends on the woman. Sam says, "Oh, I wish I had found a nice man like Nathan." Yeah, yeah. Nathan's here for us, definitely. Uh, and yeah, Lily's like, listen to Nathan. um, Lily says, and he feels and is in control, putting you down every day. He's getting a sick ego fed. Why would you leave him? He's like, this is cool. Like, and that's what they need. That's how they build up their self-esteem. That's how they get you to do what they want. They want a clean house, so they bitch at you till you're so miserable that you neglect your kids to vacuum or whatever. And it's like, no, I need to tell him that I will, make your deal. I'll have it vacuum before the end of the night, but I'm not having it. Like, we have to stand up for that. And I told you yesterday about the different dynamics, the 1 to 5, negative versus positive versus 1 to 11. If it's 1 negative to 11 positives, where there are too many positives, it starts destroying. So the more agreeable you are, it's weird how it works. It destroys relationships. Nathan says, Sam, I treat Cynthia like a queen. It doesn't say that. Nathan says, Sam, I treat you like a queen. And I believe that. I think you would too. So I won't take away Sam's thunder. That was for you. um, but you're right, Lily. He definitely is getting an ego feed off of it. But Ebony says, please tell me how I can process him telling me you're not done because you keep calling. I had called several times seeking closure, and the piece of shit ignored me. That statement of rejection still taunts me. Now, when you're close to the situation, it's hard to understand, but okay, he's right though. He is right. And He said, "You're not done because you keep calling me. I'm not calling you. You are calling me." So your mind is still wrapped up in, why did this happen? Why did he hurt me? Am I not good enough? Or does he love me? Did he ever love me? Whatever it is. If you were done, you're like, fuck him, motherfucker. I'm out. And you don't look back. So you're caught in needing that closure. And it's nice when people do that. It helps us process that stuff. So by you not being done, he's right. Doesn't necessarily mean you want to be in the relationship. Um, Sometimes you want closure. Sometimes you want something to pull from for excuses on, but we could get back together because just like you said, we really cared about each other, but it didn't work out. But we really cared about each other. If we really care. So sometimes it depends on how your mind goes. And every conversation, it's luck of the draw on the words that each of us use and pull from, and the emotions that are stirred up in that moment. Were you tired that day? Were you cranky? Were you optimistic? So your mind's still going to him, and that's what he means. How do you feel about that, Ebony? Correction. It haunts, angers, and utterly disgusts you because he did a total 180, of course. Went from salivating over me to boosting his ass ego. Oh, Ebony, I know what you're saying. And like when I give those examples, I don't mean every portion of those. This is just how I talk since I'm talking to you and also a large audience. Sometimes the words I use are directed at you. Some could be a little bit more general. So, um, how, that's how I try to handle the interest of both of you guys, the wide audience and you. But you, yes, you have told me it haunts you. You talk about the rumination, the anger, uh, and this might help explain it too, because you are angry. You have every right to be angered, but the 5 stages of grief, you have denial, you have bargaining, uh, anger, depression, and acceptance. So within that cycle, the last part is acceptance. So you're still in that stage of grief. If you were truly done with them, you'd be at acceptance and peace out. So you're still caught in that cycle, even though it's anger based. It and then the rumination, and disgusted. You might want to. Um, But does that make sense how you're still caught in the cycle? Doesn't necessarily mean that you're all lovey-dovey and want to move back in with them or something. Oh, Victoria, I try to be kind. And I'm glad you're here. Trying to do nightly chats. So if you can join us, we'd love to have you join our group. We got a really good supportive group. So thank you. That's really sweet. So yeah, feel free to hit those thumbs up, help with the algorithm. And I told you guys I'll stop saying that when I have 1 million subscribers. Lily says, oh, it popped up. Women life changes on a dime. I had same kind of relationships. And life can change on a dime. It really can. And with the narcissist, it's almost inevitable. But yeah, different stressors, different opportunities, temptations, life can definitely change quickly, and that's why some of us has trust issues too, because life, it's scary out there. Is our life partner going to stick by us? Or are they going to be tempted away? Is life going to tear us apart? Is it going to get too difficult? Sam says, you're right. I agree. I feel like I'm the one who has to make a change. Yes, I have told him and talked and tried to converse about this. Stand up and set boundaries, and nothing matters. It is up to you, And Sam says, "Oh, Nathan, eh, with a big heart, you are right." And it does. It has to be up to you. He's not motivated to do it. He gets what he wants. He gets somebody to cook, somebody to clean, somebody to bitch at, maybe have sex with. You know Uh, and Nathan says, we're all friends. Sam will be here, and we will. And Sam says, rumination, Ebony. And you said, no, let me explain. Okay, tell me. Made of rubber. They're coming for you and your kids now. What do you mean? Oh my goodness. They're coming for me and my kids? Hmm. What? This is Bozo the Clown. Oh my gosh. Made of rubber. You've been in here before. You've been in here before, I think. Ebony says, hey, he knew damn well that his actions, dropping me abruptly, would throw any person in a tailspin. Calling to seek closure. I think it was an ego trip. And it goes to, I'll continue. Ebony says it was my first time talking to him after 2 months. He'd been ignoring me because he wanted to ghost me. Of course, I wasn't done. My actions were normal. Makes sense. Yeah, your actions were completely normal. So I don't mean they weren't, but they don't process it. They don't have the empathy. So if they had the empathy, they would be like, no, that's kind of shitty. Like, I get it. Like, I don't really want to talk about it because it hurts me to talk about it. But you're right. I shouldn't have done it. I was tempted, or it wasn't working between us, or whatever it is. He didn't want to take the time because that takes away from his time. Yeah. Normally, when people break up, we've kind of said, you shouldn't just do it by text or email. You should talk to the person, maybe even give them a hug. I'm sorry it didn't work out. Hug them and go your separate ways. But closure is important to people. That's why, like autopsies. Why do we do autopsies? A person's dead. Sometimes just knowing, like, okay, I it helps with the closure on the reason. And yeah, you weren't stalking him, but after 2 months, he's like, yeah, still on your mind 2 months later. But yeah, what you went through is normal. It is very normal. And a lot of that's why a lot of these people that you see popping in and out of these live chats or commenting on the videos, we went through exactly what in our own situations, but we went through what you were going through. It's like, I just wanted closure. Being ghosted is very painful. Um, you know, uh, yeah, it was an ego trip. And yeah, you were completely right to feel what you wanted, to reach out. People should at least, be kind in the exit as opposed to cold. Um, and that's why we get stuck. And that's what he meant, though, is you're not past the 5 stages of grief. And sometimes they get a kick out of it. They also, even if you are past it, run into them down years later, they still believe that you won't ever get to that acceptance stage. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Kalibi says a relationship with a narc is like doing a merry-go-round. You have to jump off to start living again. It happened to me. Believe me, you will survive. Yeah, otherwise you're caught in that cycle. Oh, you guys are so nice. Thank you for that thumbs up with my algorithm help. Ebony says, like someone who runs you over with a car and says, why are you lying on the card? Why are you calling 911? Oh, why are you lying on the car? Yeah, let me read this again. So Ebony says, yeah, somebody who runs you over with the car and they're like, why are you lying on the car? Why are you calling 911? He wanted me to feel rejected and feed his ego. And that's the thing too. It's like, duh, like they can't get it. Yeah. And they will. They'll kick you when they're down. They'll get a kick out of it. They'll not understand it. And it'll like be a mind fuck. Lily says, yeah, but hope you're done. Nothing makes sense in a breakup usually. Yeah. And I did give the example of my cousin who met this guy. I want to say he was from Germany, maybe England. Maybe it was England. I can't remember. But they had a really good relationship. And, like marriage quality. And so he was over in the States, I think, for school. And because of COVID, she couldn't get her master's out in that country or what. So she also was really close to her family in the States. So they broke up in a loving way because He decided his career, his family had big money and business over in Germany or England, and it was just too hard for her to leave, like her sisters and that kind of family. So it was a kind one. It wasn't hurtful. It was mutual. Like we both agree it's not what it's going to work for us. So most breakups, yeah, usually they're not super like, okay, well, have a good life. See ya. Thanks for your time. Um, and it goes, my heart goes out to you because that's hard. Lily says he doesn't care about any person but himself. And especially like Sam, this is important. When they get caught in that trap of funk, the devaluation stage, there's no bringing them out of it. It it's almost like you know, when you have to sneeze or something like that, like it just builds up and it's just going to happen. So it's almost like something overtakes it. So years down the road, they might not be in dick mode, but he's kind of in that mode, and he's going to get stuck in it. So during that time, he's not going to uh, see your way, and that's how effective communication and change comes, is when we each see each other's way. We don't necessarily even have to agree, but to understand the other person, that's how we can offer compromises. But if we don't understand it, we're not offering compromises. Ebony says, because his intentions were never pure, so he couldn't face it. Cowardly and callous. Yes, he knows he fucked you over, um, and doesn't want to admit it. He just wants to forget it, doesn't want to deal with your emotions because he objectified you, and he doesn't want to say he's sorry, because that is admitting fault. So he just doesn't think about it, just moves on, and that's why they discard it, because they would rather discard than admit fault or wrongdoing. And it sucks because it's toying with somebody's life, and sometimes the damage can be lifelong, and we're here not to have lifelong damage or just minute scars instead of gaping wounds, as an analogy. Lily says a post-it sticker. Ebony says, yep, Lily. Nathan, yeah, a post-it sticker. See ya, babe. Is that what you mean? Nathan says, I went through hell with my ex-narcissist. And narcissistic abuse is like no other. Oh, well, there's also like sociopaths and psychopaths, but it's schizophrenic. But, you don't see it coming. They build that trust. And, that's why it hurts so bad. We trusted them. Ebony, Lily, done. I will never talk to him again, ever. He's an enemy to me for life. So this is the thing, is where I want you to try to get to that acceptance. Uh, 'Cause, um, I hear anger. This is just my take. I hear anger, and that's okay to be angry. Um, but if you're more in the acceptance, and this is just my take on why I feel that you're still angry, and I think you did say you're angry, but in the acceptance stage, you would respond a little different. So you're responding correctly, but you would respond different to Lily. So Lily says he doesn't care about any person but himself. And if you were more in the acceptance stage, you might say something more like, yeah, that's why I'm so glad I left, as opposed to, I'm done, never talking to him again. I can't stand him. He's my enemy. So there's nothing wrong, but it's just showing what stage you're in, as opposed to, yeah, you're right. He doesn't care about anyone, and I'm glad to be gone. So you're still in that cycle, and that cycle can take a long time to break out of. And it's hard. It is hard. And I know, Nathan, you shared with us about the hell you went through too. And sometimes it could take years. That's why I don't want you guys getting stuck for years. To actually start self-care, self-emotional care, because that's extremely important during these times. Oh, I missed that. Lily says, yeah, but hope you're done. Nothing makes, unless you're the dumper and not the dumpy. And Nathan retracted something. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, the dumper, it's easier on them. It's harder on the person who got dumped because they had control. They knew what was going on, so they had closure, you know? I just hate all the hurt that everybody, goes through. Oops. Where did my rubber, what was it? Rubber what? Are you still here? Well, guys, I'm going to log off. Kind of call my mom before. Oh, wait, hold on. Lily says, I feel like now you're in the obsession stage where you are obsessing over good sex or their good looks, but been there and you do get over it. Sometimes too, yeah, routine or, yeah, it can, you can get in that, um, with all due respect, because a lot of us can relate to that. A little jealous, um, and it still hurts, you know. Uh, so we think about it a lot, and but I don't want you to take those words like how Lily's saying. I think you're in the obsession stage, and I said you're in the anger. Um, Take that as a compliment because that is progress. That's not denial. That's not bargaining. That's moving forward. So you're getting closer to acceptance. I think you're right about there, and you have every right to be angry, like pissed angry. Yeah, he fucked with your life. He fucked with your heart. He's still fucking with your head if you think about it, the damage that he did. And, it's different if you were doing him wrong. Um, Good night. Good night, Sam. Thanks for joining us. Big hugs to you. And I'll be on again tomorrow. But yeah. And this is when you got to, realize that, there's nothing you could have done. Uh, he was a shitty person, and trying to leave the past, to channel your energy into today, channel your energy into the future. So when the past pops up, you have to say, nope, today I'm doing this, today I'm doing that, and train yourself. So Lily says, take care, Sam. Anger is healthy as long as we don't get physical with it. Yeah, anger, we have to go through that. You're right, Calibri, perfectly said. And I know I you get closer to it. So yeah, because we don't want to accept it. We didn't want that reality, but it is reality. And you know, and it's okay to cry, you know. So it's okay to get angry and let yourself be angry and then focus your thoughts that nope, I was angry. I let myself be angry for 20 minutes. And now it's time to have a cup of tea or go take a bath, or it's time to walk the dog, or it's time to do a puzzle, or clean up, or go to the mall, or whatever you want to do. And even when you talk to your friends, try not to focus too much. You might say, I'm kind of having a bad day, but if they're like, trying to cheer you up, let them. Kalibi says, that's why I practice being stoic around these narcs. Yeah, you kind of got to put that facade on too. Don't let them break the barrier. Don't let them get in with new people. So I want to send lots of love to you guys. Oh, I have somebody else just joined. But I was going to log off, guys, because I've been on since 5 and it's 7:30. So I will be on tomorrow. And lots of love to you guys. Thanks so much. Enjoy the night.